This is another video on dating. I'm gonna go over two main things here, but we're gonna talk about a lot in the dating world. I'm gonna gear this more towards like for a man in order to attract a female. But the two major things I'm gonna talk about, one of them is status. So you can think of having a high status, you can attract girls, women, whatever age it is you are or you're seeking. And then the other one is about finding yourself. So taking time to find yourself and how that relates into dating. And so this is actually coming from a question I got. This is a question from This Is Not My Sandwich. That's their username. Thanks for the question. I mean, really, you're making a statement from your own experiences. You're writing some notes. So I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna talk about it and we can just go along. So you mentioned you never felt connected in the United States, which is something that I also didn't feel connected in. Your mindset separates you from the culture. I had the same thing, and before you travel, you don't really know how separated you are. You just feel like you just can't really feel like something doesn't feel right. I'll just say that. Something doesn't feel right, and you're not really sure what it is. And you said you were fairly successful in the entertainment industry, and then you took a couple of years off to travel. Well, I think that's great that you took some time off to travel. I mean, I've done that as well. I mean, you're saying a few things in here about like taking that time off to travel, which I guess was a little bit of finding yourself, which you can find yourself when you travel, especially if you take that much time off. So I'm curious, like, you know, how much of that happened. But you said you lost status in the dating pool. Even if you have enough resources to travel full time, own property, etc., you appear as a loser in maybe some people's eyes if you're not actively doing something that's high status. And you're saying this is like you lost your status because you were out of the entertainment industry for so long, and so now you don't have that high status of like, I'm in the entertainment industry, and so, you know, you're not anymore, and so women aren't seeing that and then becoming instantly attracted to you. Women are allowed to take a break and discover themselves, but men aren't for whatever reason. You said you're friends with a couple of doctors. They're tall, in shape, and they struggle dating in the United States as well. You seemingly have to be famous to be considered a high status or like high value. And again, you're just saying you're sharing your notes, your thoughts from your own experiences, which I think is great. I mean, we all have our own experiences. We all see things in the way that we see it from our experience, so that's fine. So I really appreciate you sharing. I also asked you if I could talk about this and you said yes. So, you know, thanks. I appreciate that. And this isn't far off from actually what a lot of people think. And so, you know, I have a lot of friends as well that are doctors or lawyers, or even when I've been traveling, I end up meeting, for example, doctors or lawyers that are traveling, and they're very successful, right? In whatever sense someone can think about, right? Because you can be successful in a relationship, you can be financially successful, you can have so much freedom, you're successful in finding freedom. There's different ways to be successful, right? And to each their own. And so even if someone is very monetary, financially successful, maybe there's other parts of their life that they want to improve on, or, you know, they feel like they're lacking, and it's really internal, right? I wouldn't get the competitive route of thinking this is how people are, this is how other people are, because you never win. You don't have it all. There's never a time where you have it all. And so you're mentioning about high status. Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, you know, I'm in Vietnam, and I get a high status because I'm unique, right? Someone who lives here, a Vietnamese person who lives here, he looks the same, so he kind of is the same. Maybe some are more handsome, or maybe they have like a high status job or something like that. But, you know, I'm white, so I stand out instantly. So sometimes I get that, like, I don't want to say high status, but kind of, it feels like a celebrity feeling. Like I walk in, you know, in a small town and everyone will look at me right away. And everyone, I mean, what people say is I'm a very friendly person, which, you know, I hope to be. And I'm very kind, so that makes everyone want to chat. And to me, it feels like celebrity status. I mean, I feel great about it. And I don't have to have it. Honestly, I could sit quietly in a room and listen throughout most of my life, I was considered, like, everyone told me I was a sponge. I just sit there, listen, take in information, and then I could, do whatever I want with that information very quickly. If it's like I'm sitting in a room in an office and I'm learning information, then I can go be active on that information very quickly. So I learn stuff, and I like to be quiet. I like to listen. And so when I'm here, sometimes it is too much of a bombardment. Everyone wanted to talk and everyone wanted to do stuff, but I kind of get that little bit of a high status right away. And I remember being in America and not having that. So you have to go through all these hurdles to attract somebody. And, first off, I didn't feel like the US was for me. And I'll just be honest, I've thought about wanting to be an actor before. I like attention. I like to soak in information and be quiet, but also I like attention. I thought about being an actor or I love making people laugh. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing YouTube, hopefully to help people, but I enjoy it, right? Like it's a fun thing to do. And I don't think it's a bad thing to say that you enjoy attention, because some people really, really do not enjoy attention, and that's fine. And when I'm around people that want attention way more than me, it's fine. Like they're like usually entertaining. They're like all this bubbly personality and stuff. It's like, all right, well, to each their own. I don't know, I'm jumping around a lot, but one of the things I think really helps with that is when you read some fiction novels, because there's all these different characters in the story, and some of them are weird and some of them have their own things, but you just accept them, and it makes it a wonderful piece of the story. And so if you can just accept each person for being who they are, it's fine. What I will say is, because I'm outgoing and I'm energetic and I'm fun and friendly and I like to be friends with everyone, some people will think that I have an ulterior motive or something will play in their mind. I'm not too sure about it, right? Because I kind of have that like ignorance, excited energy all the time. But I heard this great statement. It's like, if you act smart, then people will resent you. If you act smart, people will look at you and resent you. If you act stupid, people will make fun of you. So what you should do is be smart and act stupid. And I was like, yes, that's it. Because I just want to enjoy my life. Okay, let's come back to the status stuff. So, I kind of have a little bit of status here, and if you're traveling, you might have a little bit, of that if you're like, look different. But honestly, I think it really helped find someone that I really wanted to connect with, right? If you have a high status of like monetary or very successful, then you might be finding someone on that basis. If somebody came to you before, because you're in the entertainment industry and you were dating them, you could have a lot of fun. Maybe you could meet someone absolutely beautiful, gorgeous woman. Oh man, all the fun you could have. But are you connecting with her on what you see as this long-term path? So again, this is going to be like, are you dating because you just want to have fun, or are you dating because you want this long-term connection? So I was dating for this long-term connection. I wanted to find it. So I'll just say, if you're dating like just for fun, and you're asking about that, or you're talking about high status stuff, I'm gonna have a little bit less of knowledge on that because I haven't really came from that basis. And I have a lot of friends that have that high status, and they, have fun with a lot of girls, and that's what they want to do. But I do hear from them that they're really missing that piece of connection. They want it, and so like, I strongly feel that if you actually want that connection, then you have to not start a relationship on the basis of having high status. And so, there's some kind of attracting factor at first, right? So me essentially being white could be one of my starting factors. I'm different, right? For me personally, I like someone who's different. I don't want the same. One of the reasons why I want someone different is because I get to learn so much from every day, and I want a life of learning. So that's something I appreciate. So I want to find someone who really wants to learn. I'm going to talk about myself a little bit, sorry, but just as an example to say how I can relate to this, finding the connection that you desire. So for me, I specifically wanted someone who was really growth oriented, and also someone who didn't want to go to fancy meals all the time, okay? I have so many friends that I travel to see, and they love going to fancy meals. I'll go with them. But if I'm alone, I will not go to a fancy meal. I don't want to sit down in a restaurant, sit in a seat. It's just it just feels sterile to me. Even if the place is trying to be cozy, it's just sterile environment. I want to sit down, eat, and leave. And so whenever I'd go on dates with girls and they wanted to go to fancy restaurants every single date, girl's not for me. Click, register, not for me, okay? Like, that's what she values. It's not my values. it's not going to be for me. Maybe it wasn't just a straight clicking moment. Maybe I'm like, oh, but she's so pretty and blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, the girl that I'm dating now, like, that I really see a future with, we connected at first a nice place because she thought, I'm a foreign guy, so of course I'm going to want nicer things. And then that was it. That was our future, we'd been in nice places, but that was it. After that nice place, we went to like coffee shops on the side of the road, which is my personal favorite, and just like go to all these little restaurants on the side of the road, and now we eat all the time. All little kinds of restaurants, mom and pop places, because I personally feel like that's the best food. Somebody is cooking that food because they own it, it's their place, not some staff member at a restaurant. So I have this strong value that I get better meals, better value out of going to a place that's quick and easy and getting food. And so she values that too. And also, we're both growth oriented, so we can talk about all the same stuff. It matches. And, like I'm trying to be honest, I have more money than what she initially thought that I would have from that mindset. And so she decided she wanted to be with me because she connected with me. There was a statement I said I truly believe, because it's my mindset. I told her, I will help you live the life you want faster and more effectively than you would without me. I strongly believe that. I know it's a big statement, but like, I obviously am making these videos about positive mindset. I truly believe if I can help influence someone's mind positively, you'll grow, you'll improve. And if I'm spending every single day around someone and being positive and inspiring them and motivating them to do the things that they want to do, I know they'll reach it faster. Then how could they reach it faster with anyone else? Like, I feel like I'm one of the most positive people, right? Maybe I'm not, but I feel like I am. So I will help her reach it fast, like whatever it was she wants to achieve in life. And if it changes, I'll help her achieve that. And I talked to her about that. And so, I want her success. I want her to be happy. I want the same thing. I want to be successful. I want to be happy, and that matches up. And so that's the basis of how we started the relationship. And when I've gone on dates and they're dating me for my money, it doesn't work out. Like, I don't have money so that I can go to nice restaurants and spend it all doing stuff and buying expensive purchases. I don't value that. And to me, that doesn't make for a good life. I've always valued freedom, and every dollar I make builds more freedom. And yeah, I can spend it on things that I like, or buy her things occasionally, but I'm not buying super expensive stuff or wasting it. In my mind, wasting it. I want freedom. And that's what I can offer her. That's what I can offer my future children, my family, freedom. I'm not the one to offer the material items. That's not who I am. And so we've started on that basis, and that's, the projection. So, if someone's coming to you for the high status, then they're relying on that. Like, if you lose a high status, why do they want to be with you? That's what they want. So your values are not aligned. If you want that high status and someone finds you with the high status, fine. But if you lose it, you might lose them. And so if you find someone based off of a connection, you're genuinely trying to connect with someone, find love, and just someone who can care and on an emotional level, then if you find someone who resonates with those things, maybe occasionally you'll lose your emotions, your mood will go up and down. I strongly believe that you'll have mood changes. I do. Everyone does. My girlfriend does for sure. And when you're gonna have those fluctuations, if someone still cares about you, they'll know you get past it. They'll know you be with you. They'll stay with you. Again, if someone's just dating you for high status, you lose that high status, they might lose faith that you'll ever get it back. Especially because when you lose that status, you're gonna start losing a sense of self. And so, I hear from a lot of stuff that I'm watching, like Warren Buffett. He's like, you find a woman, finding out the right spouse is the biggest decision you make in your life, because they're going to make or break your mindset. And so when you're in a low time, to have someone there that genuinely wants to be with you because of you and cares about you, then they'll help you get out of it. Like, mentally, they'll help you get out of it, or whatever else, they'll help you get out of it. But if you're with someone just for whatever you started with, money, high status, that's how they're attracted to you, then if you start losing those things, they might not be there to support you. They might just leave and go find someone else who has those things. So I don't really think it's a good way to start a relationship with the high status, but you need some initial factor to attract them. Obviously, like I was saying, I'm white, but I'm in shape a little bit, right? I go to the gym. I recommend having a body that is at least in shape, right? You're trying to attract. We're still like these animals in nature, right? Like, you got the big lion that attracts the mates, or the birds that do the dances. If you want, go somewhere and do the dances, okay? Like, whatever you want. But I do think the gym is something that you can do. I mean, it shows hard work, it shows discipline, it shows effort, and it is like, it is hard work. Like it is effort. There's many more reasons why I go to the gym, like for mental reasons and stuff, but like having a better body is one way to attract. You know, going to whatever networking events, but just being kind, like being a true giver. I'm reading this book right now by Adam Grant called Give and Take. I actually think it's really good. I'm not that far into the book yet, but it's about being a giver. Too many takers in the world, like just way too many people that are out there just to like put stuff in their pocket, like what can I get from this? And this is really talking about just giving, just continue to give a life of giving. And this book is also inspiring me to film more of these videos, right? I get nothing out of this. I mean, I feel good, which is great. That's what you should do. And if it helps you out, oh, that's wonderful. And I want nothing in return. I just want to help. And this book reinforces that. And so if you're going to networking events and you're just helping people genuinely, they'll see that, they'll notice that. And I'm not sure if you hear like stuff outside. Vietnam is loud, but just being the kind person that you are. Always be kind. Always be caring, and whatever other values that you have. So I'm not sure, I'm not in conversation, but those values that are so important to you that define your character, display those in whatever way you can. Be as strong in your display of them as you want to be, as you can be, as that can come up from inside of you and be there, and then that will attract some people. If you try to conform to how everyone else is, suit, tie, do the thing, you know, whatever, you don't really stand out. I mean, if you switch environments, you're a different environment and you're the only person like that, then you stand out. But allow yourself to really stand out. I got a bunch of like colorful shirts that I wear when I'm feeling like it, and like people love it. I love it. It's fun. So sometimes I just wear all black. It's cool. Sometimes I don't want attention. I'm still white, so I still get attention wherever I go. But sometimes I really do want attention. I want to be fun. I'm gonna go drink and hang out at night with friends. So I want to chat with people, and then people from other tables come over, walk up, and like then it becomes like a very fun thing. Anyway, long enough rant for the high status thing. The other thing is finding yourself, and you mentioned like women can take time to find themselves, and guys really don't have the same thing. I mean, in the sense of we were talking about high status, that statement it's very clear. I mean, it makes sense, sure, because you've lost the status from that. But the reason why I want to challenge that, I think we should always be finding ourselves. Like, yes, you can have a segment of time where you like leave, like you did, like you traveled, and like I traveled and I've spent time finding myself. But I'd say there's been so many years of just finding myself, and like, am I doing it now? Yeah, still, I don't want it to ever stop. Like, I want to keep changing as a person. That makes for a wonderful life. I'm afraid of being the person that does the same thing every day, goes to the same 9-to-5 job, comes home, gets on their phone, plays on stuff, eats dinner, goes to sleep, goes to work. Like that to me sounds miserable. Like for me, at least personally, like if that's how somebody desires to live their life, that's okay. If they're happy, especially if they're happy, you're doing awesome, keep it up. But if they're not, like you're gonna live the next 20 years like that, right? Like, so you have to find yourself. And so I always want to do that because it makes my life exciting. It's what I like. It's one of my values. And so I do think it's really important to take time to find yourself. And if it's a big segment of time, it's like you need to disconnect from all the things before so that you can alter and change as a person. I actually think when you're doing that, when you get to the end of that and you start like, you know, if you have to go through this massive change and you're getting to the end of that, then you start putting more time and energy into the things that you've realized are most important to who you are as a person, that your values align with your character. And then when you're going down that path, that's when you start attracting. Like that's when people start noticing that you're on this beautiful path. And the reason it's such a beautiful path is because it's your own unique path. And then they want to be around you, support you, talk to you. Again, this is like the giver mentality. You should also hopefully be wanting to give back to them and supporting them. If it's a taker mindset, and if you just take, for example, then they'll end up leaving and you'll never get them again. You break bridges. But if you're giving them with no thought in return, and you're going on this beautiful path, then you'll find the people that match with you and want to support you and want to be with you, and that'll be a wonderful life. And so I really think you should take time to find yourself and constantly do it. And as you find the things that are most important to you, you hear that voice speak up, listen to it, and keep going down it. These could become your main attracting factors for people coming in. This, you know, rather than the high status, it'll be the values that you truly align with. You know, I can't speak for what those values might be for you, but if you know you've been gone for a while, then spending time finding them is really, really important. Anyway, I hope this covers the statements you're having. Like, I really appreciate the thoughts there, and I totally understand the thoughts that you're sharing, and I hope some of my thoughts back just create new thoughts inside of your mind or whoever else watches. I hope some new thoughts come, and then you can go in the direction that's best for you. See you next time.